That's right, guys. We're right on time. Good morning, good afternoon. Not a good night yet. We are just starting. I'm Dan Man, aka Daniel's son, and I'm joined by always the lovely Taylor. What's going on, Taylor?
Good morning.
I think a lot of people are super excited for this breakdown slash prediction because this we are talking Mayans MC season 3, episode 7. And what a whammy of an episode! This episode was pretty intense, and there's a lot to dive into, and that's exactly we're going to go straight to the point. Let's get into some of these storylines that's going on right now. So Taylor, let's jump into Adelita. Um, I first of all I want to let's give our score first, and then we'll jump into Adelita. I gave this episode surprisingly, even though rewatching it, I see the problems. I know the some of the writing isn't there, but there's a lot of to me this was a lot of good than bad. I gave this a 9 out of 10. What is your score, and what do you think is going on with Adelita in this episode?
I gave my rating an 8 for this episode, and Adelita, I was actually kind of shocked. She came back, and it turns out the guy that's been with her, running the Los Olvidados for the longest time, Pablo. Oh
Pablo,
man,
yeah. Hmm.
she took him out. She's like, you were supposed to be Papa when I was gone, and you've been letting everything just run into the dirt. All those kids are running
Absolutely.
wild. There's no
Hmm.
goal, no mission. Everyone has just forgotten about me.
Playing freaking video games.
Yeah, you
Like,
betrayed me, and now I'm taking mommy's here.
yes. It's so funny because like I couldn't remember his name Taylor, and everybody's like, "It's Pablo, Pablo." I'm like, you know
Pablo,
what?
Pablo.
And it's funny because when I was watching the scene, and I love the scene too, because it was like he knew when he saw Adelita and when he saw Minnie, he's like, "I am fucked. Like I'm dead. There's like no way I'm getting out of this." It just felt like that conversation. He was just trying to kind of like answer to what he did, but he knew that there was no way of answering it. In the back of my mind, if looking at him, I was like, "This." He kind of reminds me a little bit of a young Pablo Escobar too, and I don't know why I didn't
Yeah.
remember his name. Um, so yeah, I mean, we all knew that Adelita and when she got Minnie, that she was going to start making moves, right?
Yes.
And this episode to me was like a reckoning episode. That was like the theme of the episode. So first of all, she needed to she I love the line where she tells Minnie like so many people have betrayed us, right?
Yes.
Pablo, this is how you know you have a good number two. If Pablo could keep carrying on, right? That's why you see in movies and and TV shows where that number something happens to the main guy, but his number two
Holds it down.
holds it down. Unless you're Jack Nicholson, the Joker, and you're killing your number two off. But this was so I mean, yeah, Adelita and kills Pablo. Now Taylor, for me in this episode, when we're talking about Adelita and we're talking about the LNG I'm gonna butcher it,
Los
Olividos
Olvidados.
Olvidados. Yes, there we go. Arnold voice right there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not really good at pronouncing Spanish. I try the best I can.
I'm
I
like,
mean, what sucks for me is like the pronunciation. Do
yeah.
not ask me to roll my R's because as a native English speaker, it's very hard for me.
Look it, I'm like Creeper, man. All right, I don't know. Like I'm Mexican, but like,
LA
and
Mexican.
but I'm just I just don't know Spanish. But this is what I got out of it, Taylor. And I'm just gonna jump into real quick this one line that Bishop gives to Diaz. He goes, he tells him, "I want to go back to that outlaw shit, right? I want to, but before that, we need Ramos. I need Ramos needs the day of reckoning, right?" So to me, that felt like that was like the writers. That was Elgin James telling the audience, "We gotta we gotta finish these storylines this season, and
Yeah.
then next season we're going back to that outlaw shit." That's kind of what that to me that was like an arrow to like the audience. But going back to Adelita, this is where I'm getting at is that her storyline has been covered a little bit this season. It
Yeah,
hasn't been
very small.
very small. So to me, is this one of the storylines that they're banking for another season where this is going to be
Yeah.
carry on to another? Because this feels like a start than any of like an ending to it or a middle. It feels like she's just starting. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually agree with you. This it starts to add up to that when you look at she's shown for very little. When she is shown, she's not doing a whole lot, but she's still, moving one slot forward every time. And I think you're right. I think they who knows what's going on with FX and their renewal process, or if we're gonna get a season 4. And I think the planning stages was, hey, let's have a great season 3 that and we'll make it so that if it does end here, it's not a stupid hard cut with all kinds of unresolved storylines. And yeah, I think this is their way of kind of inching that train closer and closer. If they get a renewal, then hell yeah, everything is coming full steam ahead. You got to imagine, there was a lot of writing that Kurt Sutter laid down in the first 2 seasons. Yes, Elgin was a part of that, but now he's in control of it. He's working with Sean Tretta, and they've got to connect their threads that they're doing to the previous seasons. And I think they're doing a really good job so far. I think Dan's got some lag. Well, I'll move into the chat while he fixes his technical things. Gary, hello, welcome. His name is Robert Paulson. Is that the actor? It must be, if he's talking about Pablo. Johnny, hello. Sutter wanted a soap opera. James wants outlaw shit. Yeah, I kind of agree. Well, Kaden, welcome back. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I had my mic on mute. Sorry, guys. I was drinking up some coffee. I didn't want you to hear me. But
slurp, slurp.
I know. Maybe you're just gonna have to deal with my drinking of the coffee now. So a lot of mixed things about this. So it's funny that you said about Curter and stuff. There is other people who want like
You say Curter.
I'm sorry, Sutter. Curter. Sutter. I'm sorry. A lot of people are wondering like what would have happened if Kurt Sutter was still on Hands On.
I don't wonder.
A lot of people disagree on the way the show is, but listen, guys. I mean, I think Elgin James is doing a fantastic job. Yes, there is problems I still have with the season and the episode, but this is a hell of a season. This is a lot better, in my opinion. So. To that, I mean, if you're not feeling it no more, if we're already in 7 episodes and you just don't, like where it's going, then it's as easy as going to another show or just, going back to the things you do love. So,
I do think their concerns are legitimate.
Oh, no, most definitely.
Yeah, I do think their concerns are legitimate. It's hard to see the creator, who ran an entire 7 seasons of one show, kind of just fall off the map 2 seasons into the spinoff. I do find, your feelings are valid on that. It is kind of scary, I think, for the long-term fans to see somebody like that just, drop off.
I mean, this is the creator,
and maybe there's some who feel that if one person who didn't start it from the ground up is able to carry it successfully, then maybe they won't see a continuation of the talked about, the rumored spinoffs. So who knows?
Well, when we get into more of this episode, there's a lot of critique in this episode that I absolutely agree. Now, my feelings for it being a 9 is just the feelings of first of all, they took my advice from the last review I did, and then it's just I feel like it was exactly what people wanted in this episode that they didn't get last episode. And I just think Elgin James, for what he, him with Kurt Sutter leaving, and then with Elgin James having really kind of taken over the series, I think he's just doing a great job. But critique is always welcome, but you got to not just focus on the bad. You also got to see the good. And I think that's what a lot of people are kind of missing a little bit. Just there is a lot of good, especially this season. But let's get back to Adelita. So that's why I think that if they do get another season, I'm looking to, I guess the real focus more. I'm thinking they're gonna focus more on Adelita because she's such a like. She has not gotten a lot of shine at
Yeah.
all in this season, so I'm assuming that more shine for her next season, and a lot of people want to see that. They make this they made this storyline, so that's exactly what I'm feeling. Taylor, is that they might know something we all don't. They might already know that they might be getting another season. Who knows? But like if that's the case, I'm very interested to see how they're going to finish, how they're going to carry this through the season finale,
Yeah.
and if there's going to be breadcrumbs still at the end of it.
Yep.
Uh, so so we had the Adelita situation. It was very brief, but it was nice. It was great to see. She's shaving all these kids' heads.
Yeah,
She's making them.
can I just say that kind of does seem more of an equalizer, the shaving of the heads, for the boys and the girls. It kind of shows that we're all the same
Except except Minnie.
under the same cause. It's like kind of like an equalizer type of
Mm-hmm.
like a reinitiation to the Los
Yeah, like
Olivos.
a
Yeah.
rebirth. Well,
Yes, exactly.
that's how I got out of it when she shaved her
Yes.
head, was a rebirth. Um,
And the show's always had some symbolism. So that kind of just stood out to me.
But Minnie didn't get her head shaved. She didn't want her head to be shaved. Probably because she made that's a saying that you're perfect the way you are. I guess. You
Oh,
don't.
that she's so close to Adelita that I mean,
Yeah. Don't shave your head. You're basic. But she was like, all you guys, we're gonna do Alien 3, so everybody's gonna get their head
hell
shaved.
yeah.
Um. So the Adelita storyline brief. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see. I don't think they're gonna get a lot of screen time. Next episode, but I will ask you this question, Taylor. What does Adelita do after this? A lot of people speculate she might be going after Potter, maybe Galindo. Like, where do you think this is going to go from after this episode?
She has some names that she needs to, have conversations with.
It's like Bucky from
She
Winter
was
Soldier.
betrayed. Yeah. She was left basically for the writers to get her out, if I could just put it that way.
Yeah.
Angel, he had the option to save her. He made the choice to save his father instead. The Mayans kind of just let her, get taken. Galindo didn't do anything to save her. Granted, his mother had just been killed as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, dude, come on. You can't just couch your emotions and let everybody fall
And
just
did you
because
see
your mom
that
died.
promo?
I did, but we'll go there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe everyone. If you guys think back to that season 1 finale meeting at the casino, and we saw a joining of what was 3 enemies, pretty much for the most part.
Yeah.
And it set up a situation like this in the future. Like, you didn't have to predict it, but you could have just been like, how long is this going to last, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing now her changed self want to, hey, I have to punish those people that wronged me because I held up my end and they never held up their end.
Exactly. It's that line. Look at how many people betrayed us. So she's out. She's ready. She has Minnie. She has a little army. she's ready. So yeah, I'm very curious. I mean, if a lot of people think the baby is dead, I absolutely do not think the
I
baby
don't
is dead.
think so. And I saw some chats that I think it would be, if we're going to read those ones, Dan, would be a good time to read them
Let's do
now
it. Let's do
because
it.
they're tying into what we're talking about.
Let's get it.
There's some about Potter, and I think we should hit on those.
Gary, welcome, Gary. Good morning. Gary says Minnie is the new Pablo. Yeah.
She's number 2 now.
She definitely is. I mean she is gonna do a way better job than Pablo ever did, and she's only like how old?
I think she's like 13, 14 years old, maybe something like that.
Chris J says no, she didn't want to. She stepped up to get her hair shaved, and Adelita said no. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Adelita did say that she didn't want her hair to be shaved. Exactly. Let's see. They're all coming in here pretty quick. You got a couple that you see? Number 2.
I saw some earlier, but I can't, you know how it is with me as a guest on Restream, I can't scroll through. Someone said they thought that, that Potter was lying in wait and eventually might turn up again someday. And I think that the baby for sure is alive. I think Adelita cut ties with her baby so that she wouldn't allow that to be drawn in again, like to, keep her after that because she has other things that she wants to take care of. And she wasn't going to want it to be, have it be used against her to get what Potter wants. So it's possible. I think with, like we talked about, not knowing what the future lies for Mayans, that maybe they took a backseat from Potter. It's possible that he could return, and that would be a banger for Angel and Adelita after they're done dealing with everything in this season to find out. He's like, "Hey, why'd you lie to me about my son?" Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, my prediction's still gonna hopefully hold up. That I said Potter will probably be in the last episode. It's not gonna be like I wouldn't say it's gonna be a cameo, but it's gonna be like not a
Yeah.
big long ass scene.
Oh, Chris
Uh,
cleared it up for me. He said Potter might be behind the LNG, so the Lobos new generation.
yeah, I heard. There's a couple people that have been telling me that, and you know what? Maybe the dude's a crazy bastard. So,
Who knows?
who knows? Maybe has some ties with them, especially. But
He
I
doesn't
abs
strike me as somebody who just like lets go.
No, exactly right. I guess it was very odd to see him just like bounce like with a one line saying like
Adios.
he's not there right now. But I absolutely do not believe that the baby is dead at all.
No.
I think the baby is still alive, um, and I think it might be. He's definitely using that baby for leverage. Hell, he might be taking care of the baby. I don't know.
Shit,
We'll see.
yeah, seriously.
We just do not know. The Kaba, welcome in Kaba. How you doing today? I like this line. He said, "Adelita's baby will join forces with Abel Teller in the SOA spinoff." Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, so yeah, you guys are. We'll be getting to your comments. Let's move to a little bit of let's see. I might have one more. Oh, for some reason my comment section kind of lags a little bit. So I barely got the Potter might be behind LNG. Caden is his first name is Oscar.
Caden said, I might be wrong from what I've heard in the spoiler review, Dan. You said Ramos was killed at the end of in the police car, but wasn't that Oscar from Stockton? Caden, his name is Oscar Ramos.
Yeah,
So he was probably saying his last name, but yeah, it was Oscar, the Stockton president.
Before we get to that big old, well, I know you guys want to talk about that, but let's get into another. You know what? Let's get into it, Taylor. Let's get into it because a lot of people are really invested in this character, and they're really saddened to see what is happening to this character. And I think you know exactly who I'm talking about. We're gonna talk about Coco.
Oh yeah.
Once again, this is the critique I have with the writers and this episode and the last couple episodes. The nobody seems to ask where the hell is Coco. Easy
Yeah.
comes up and Bishop's like, "You made it," play jokingly and stuff. Um, we gotta remember, guys. This all started because of Taz's ass killing Riz, but it also is a retaliation for what happened to Coco. Yet Coco is nowhere to be seen. And at first, I love the beginning where Angel's beating the shit out of one of the Stockton Mayans. I forgot his name already. And then they go into like that tattoo parlor and they're looking for Ramos and they're just destroying everything at that tattoo parlor.
Yeah, they started hitting them in their income sources.
And I saw long hair and I saw a weak ass like uh bat hitting or like swinging of the bat and I was like, is that Coco? Coco's with them? It wasn't Coco.
No,
It
it
was
was
like it was
Taza.
Taza. Yeah, it was Taza. You gotta swing better, buddy. But then yeah, so Coco he finally goes home. Letty is
Letty.
finally in the episode. Um to me though, I was a little shocked because it was very quick their conversation. She does end up coming back, but that's not it was very brief. And I'm gonna let you guys know right now, I don't think Coco is dead. I think Hope might be, but I don't think Coco is. What are your thoughts, Taylor? Do you think Coco's dead?
So I have kind of been on the bench on like, is Coco gonna die from like an OD, or
Mm-hmm.
and I think that because they had it in this episode, you've got like 3 episodes left of the season. I think he's gonna be hospitalized and Letty is gonna get his
Oh yeah.
shit together, because I was
Mm-hmm.
like leaning like, do I want to switch seats? Is he gonna die from an overdose? Is he gonna overdose and then Letty is gonna help him get his shit together? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it could go either way. With everything they're dealing with right now, it would just be too hard of a bomb to drop right now for his
Mm-hmm.
death. So I'm going with he's alive.
Well, if they were gonna do it, this is the time to do it. Like this is right here to kill him off. So that's why I'm think like there's like 3 episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna go to. I think Hope is gonna die, and that's gonna be a little bit of his wake up call. Like, oh shit, my girl died. Um,
You didn't even
and
love her.
I know, and I do like that like relationship, but it's somebody
I kind
he
of
doesn't.
feel for Hope, for someone who is not a main character. They've she made a little of appearance in
She made an
Sons, you like
impression.
briefly, and then she came up in season 2. She does make an impression. You really kind of feel for this girl that,
Mm-hmm.
man,
Yeah.
like her life just spiraled down. If the right people were in her life, like helping her, she could have changed and she could have maybe done something with her life. And she's beautiful too. Like you just feel
Mm-hmm.
so bad for her, and it kind of just, it's a little hard to watch the addiction storyline.
Uh-huh.
God, it's just so raw. Like, it's really kind of hard to watch,
It was
but I
hard to
get it.
watch it because this is a character that we know what he's capable of in the first 2 seasons. It's just
And
so.
I'm agreeing with chat. Sorry to I keep interrupting you, Daniel. I'm
Oh,
so
you're
sorry.
good, baby. You're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm pretty excited. So everyone in the chat, I'm agreeing with you. No one is like, where is Coco? Like, can we check up on him, go find him? I
This
I
is
do
this is
find that writing, you
this
said
is
the writing
this
was
is
a
the
little off.
problem. Yeah, this is the problem with
This is where I agree with you about there's a
yeah.
writing issue, because if you were to talk about the real hierarchy within the club,
Uh huh.
this would have not been called, stood for. You're supposed to show
Yeah.
up here. You're supposed to be here when we do this. We call you, you answer. This is not
Bishop
going to fly.
Bishop made even a statement this season telling Easy, where's your brother? Like he asked for where Angel was when he was with Adelita, and then Easy go, oh, pops. Like, yeah, this is baffles me. This is where I say to the people who didn't necessarily like this episode because of
Yeah.
the writing on here, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I saw more good, but I see that problem. I'm like, all it takes is for Bishop to tell Easy welcome back, and to go turn around and go, where's Coco? Where the fuck
Yeah.
is Coco? And then, they go maybe search for him next episode. But like, exactly. All it takes is one line. And because you don't say that one line, or you don't even address it, that's lazy writing to me. And I'm just like, what the hell? Nobody is saying anything. And I'll get to Bishop. Like, I love Bishop.
Yeah.
But this character has some definitely, or his decision making, some flaws there. But going back to Coco, it's yeah, Taylor. It's hard to watch Coco. It's hard to see the state he's in. It's hard to see the kind of the same thing. It's the same thing all the time with Coco in this season. I'm hope if he doesn't die, that makes me believe that he's gonna get clean. I think he's gonna get clean because we have 3 more episodes left. Letty came back and wanted to straighten things with Coco, because that was what I really loved about this episode was the dialogue.
Yeah.
How he just kind of throws it at her face like, I didn't ask for you, and then Letty goes back and I didn't ask for you. And then she leaves, she comes back. So me knowing that she comes back, that means she's ready to fight for Coco, right? Even though she
Mhm.
said that she wished he'd OD. There's a change of heart. We're all humans, right? We say things that we don't want to say, but it comes out. And then I think if Coco lives, this is where we get the path to being clean. That's my thoughts on that.
And I have to point out, hi Jermaine, he says, Gilly doesn't care what Coco does anymore. Sure, they are Mayans brothers, but if Coco is going to continue to do the things he's doing, the club's going to have to vote him out. And I have to tell you, So Gilly is a veteran. Coco is a veteran. I just have a hard time seeing Gilly lose that camaraderie so quickly. I understand like he feels betrayed. He's like, look, if you can't even man up and tell me what's going on, you also got to realize you're dealing with men. All right, these guys, you can't expect them to open themselves up. This isn't the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
All right, this is Mayans MC. So I just find it a little bit difficult that Gilly just strong armed him like that and didn't keep pushing and pushing and pushing until that egg cracked.
Yeah. Well, that's the other kind of problem I have. So there's going to be critique in this. The camaraderie, just because
Yes. Oh yeah.
of this, like the camaraderie is really not there. Like I don't feel like it's really there. Like it's showcase. It shows a little here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel like I said previously. Like I don't know, a while back we did this. I said that I feel like this club could easily hide secrets from Bishop, or like could just absolutely, like, things can go on and like nobody knows anything because they're not that close, like people could betray us, backstab each other, because it doesn't feel like they're that, they say brother, but do they
Mm-hmm.
mean that, and then we kind of see that in this episode with Diaz, which we'll get into. And I know I'm holding off on that
Yeah.
one. I'm holding off on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to roll into some of these other plot lines
But
because it's crazy.
but the camaraderie to me is just kind of not there, Taylor. If it was there, I would see it. I would hear somebody say,
Well,
"Coco."
we
Where's
we
Coco?
complimented like in this first season, even in the second season, at how
Mm-hmm.
different the Mayans as a club
Uh huh.
operated compared to Sons of Anarchy. Because Sons of Anarchy, we know that they were at each other's throats. There was disagreements. There
They
was
were,
lies.
but
There
they
was
were
backstabbing.
partying. They were like,
I know,
they were
but
like, family
now we got
dinners.
a 180 of that.
Yeah, but I think you need a little bit of, just a little bit, not a lot. I think you need
Well,
a little bit, like more of kind of like, I guess, yes, they're always at the club, but you need a little bit of, I guess what I'm missing is a little bit more character interaction that's not in the club, you know?
well, I think we're seeing what happens when there's no longer any bounty. I mean, we had the Mayans operating in times of plenty, and now,
Hmm.
I mean, the money train is dry.
That's
I
very true.
mean, their whole business sense, that everything that they operate on is completely different.
Yeah, and then also the circumstances with what's going on too. I mean, there's just a lot of heat, a lot of things that, of course, that's on the mind of Bishop, but like there's a lot of things going on that I guess the downtime, and then the downtime is really focused more on like kind of Easy and his relationship with Gabby. Sometimes Angel with Adelita in the beginning. I just think there's something missing. There's something missing, but I agree with you, Taylor. I do like, I bravo to Elgin James to really kind of, because this crew to me is starting to finally become recognizable, memorable. Like now I know
Yes.
everybody's names.
Yeah.
Before I didn't know anybody's names because who were they? But now in this episode, we see the loyalty of Creeper, which we'll get into. We see the thoughts and decisions of Bishop. We see Taza, even though he's sneaking around. You have that sense that those conversations with him and Bishop I always enjoy. More Angel's Angel, Easy's Easy because we've been with them. Coco seems to be in a dark path, but we get a little bit more Gilly. Gilly had some of the funniest lines in this episode. So
Yeah, they like to well, they tried to use him in the previous seasons to kind of be that comedic break.
yeah,
But some of the jokes were just a little corny. But I
yeah,
feel like now they're a little
they're better.
they're better.
They're
Yeah,
way
I
better.
appreciate that. Thanks.
So I do think there's something still a little bit missing here. And then we're fast course to the season finale. So if anything's gonna be like, I get, we'll see how it goes. But I do like where this is headed. I think Elgin James is doing a great job. Let's get into some of these comments real quick. So, Johnny Diaz, welcome in, man. I think there is a bigger plan for Coco. If he dies like that, that is whack. What do you think, Taylor?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know which seat I wanted to sit in, whether he was dead or if he was going to be hospitalized and he's going to recover. I would love to have him recover and change. I would like this to be a situation where he comes out of it and
Mm-hmm.
has like a hell of a crazy arc in season 4 where where we expect a lot of the club dynamic to change. So I would really like him to stay around, and if there's going to be a club death, uh maybe
Bishop.
maybe something else. You keep saying Bishop, man. Stop.
That would make sense, right? If Bishop were to go, and somebody had to step up, they need
Ooh,
Coco.
yeah,
That could be his redemption, where he's right there in the club. Season 4, he's there. He's clean and he's
yeah.
ready
So
to
let me
rock and
ask
roll.
you
So
this:
maybe.
if you okay, then I think we'll have to like change topics. But
I
let me
got
ask you this
I
little
got
fun
one more
question here.
question,
Go
but go
ahead.
for it, Taylor. Go for it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. So let's say that a power shift changes, okay?
Uh
And
huh.
who would you put as president, VP, and sergeant at arms, just for those top places?
So VP is Taza.
Okay.
I mean, like right now, but I think Taza's gonna die.
Oh my
I,
gosh.
I want Hank as VP. I love Hank. I love Hank
Okay.
as VP. Um, Sergeant at Arms. Give it a creeper. Give it a creeper.
Right. Okay.
And then come on, Taylor. You know what I'm gonna say? Who's gonna be president?
Don't say easy.
Oh hell no! Easy is listen. Easy's doing work. Don't get me wrong. He is doing work this season. But no, I would actually bring back Marcus.
Ooh.
I want
Okay.
Marcus. I want Marcus. I want this actor in this show. You notice that he has not been in the show a lot. I really want Marcus. Uh I mean, why not, right? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into this question real quick and then we're gonna move on. So TX Moto, welcome in. Good morning. Maybe they haven't addressed it well enough in the show, but maybe the reason Coco is getting a pass from Bishop is because of his injury.
Mm.
That makes pretty good sense. I like that logic. It's a little bit too much of a pass. I mean,
Yeah.
you still they haven't. If that's the case, they really haven't handled it really well. Where they just need one line for somebody. I don't care who. Somebody. I don't even care if it's Diaz from Oakland. Hey, where's Coco? Like somebody. Where's Coco? Just tell me somebody. Just
He
yeah,
has about 20% vision left in that eye. I
yeah.
mean, if you don't know what that's like, I mean,
I
yes,
do.
the other eye is operating at 100%, but
My
I
left
mean,
eye is. Whew.
the perception is probably really messed up for him, especially when he's riding. You've got to use you got to be aware of your surroundings when you're riding on the road, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that does kind of mess with him a little bit, and not
Yeah.
being able to feel like he can 100% respond. But who knows?
I'm gonna go real quick. One more, and then we're gonna move on. Johnny makes a good point. So my point was like, I'm not seeing a lot of too much camaraderie, and Johnny has a great point. I actually really agree. I always said that I always wanted like Mayans to be kind of like the American me, really like that Latino gang mentality. So Johnny Diaz says, Dan, in the Latino community concerning gangs, there is a lot of betrayal, backstabbing, and not much unity. The show is accurate to me concerning Mayans. I gotta give it to yeah. You know what, Johnny? You kind of opened my eyes on that. You're absolutely right. So you see that with Taz's character, and maybe that's why I'm feeling a little like maybe I haven't really kind of like thought about that way, and I'm like, that's very, that's right. This is a this is a more brutal definitely season, and you maybe that is the case. So let's get into it, Taylor. I really want to dig deep in this. So let's talk about this war. Let's talk about Bishop going after or Bishop and his crew looking for Ramos. Them being greeted by Diaz from the Oakland charter, the president, and then you have just craziness when it comes to all these all these guys, right? But I really want to dive into Bishop's decision making and how what the problem I had with some of the this is this problem I have with the writing of this episode. But what are your thoughts on just this whole madness that's now happening that we've been waiting for all these or all these episodes?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your audio for a second.
Oh, okay. We're talking about so now we're gonna jump into like Bishop, trying to track Ramos. We're gonna the Oakland Charter, Diaz. What are your thoughts on this whole craziness right here?
Okay, so I had when the whole fighting thing was happening with the actual fight itself,
Yeah,
I had a little hard time keeping up who
the
was
big
hitting who.
brawl. Yeah.
Yeah. But leading up to that point, so Bishop, what are you doing, bro? You keep swinging and you're not hitting any balls out of the park. You're missing. Too much too soon.
Yeah.
So okay, so we saw Diaz, and he's the new president of Oakland. He presumably took over the seat after Alvarez retired and went over to Galindo, for anyone who needs to follow
and
along.
and then he made that line. Alvarez was the one. He's the primo. He's the godfather. But you can't
Yeah.
start a charter by yourself.
Yeah. So okay. We do find out, I mean, they were basically set up. I mean, Bishop was like, hey, if we get Stockton on our side, then it's us against Oakland, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Oscar is president of. So, kind of even the odds a little bit. And so what we were missing from this fight, I noticed, was Yuma, and that's Conchi. So there's Conchi, Oscar, and Bishop, who are the three kings.
Yeah.
Trying to lay it out just so like I'm straight, everyone else is following along. So we were missing Conchi, and it turns out, and I kind of, maybe I would have given this episode a 9, but I lost a little bit because I was like, I just didn't know how really believable that whole scenario was. Diaz definitely stands them up. He turns out he's sitting around. He's like, yeah, we'll sit here and we'll hold tight until we find out where Oscar is, and then we'll go hit him. And the whole time he's keeping Santo Padre in one place so that Oscar and his crew can come over and hit on them. I don't know.
It's so crazy how you're explaining it. It's like this happened.
It was a lot to follow.
It was a lot.
Because you have to keep everyone straight. There's so many patches, too many names. It was just a lot to follow.
And that shit, like, just like when Angel hit that dude with the baseball bat, it like when it went, it took off. Right? It like
they played baseball. Him and Easy played baseball when they were kids. So I thought that was a kind of nice little nod.
That is the proper way to use a bat.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right, Taylor. Believability. All right. So believability. So here is the issue I had with the episode. Here's the issue where I love my boy Bishop. I think this dude, the actor, should be nominated for quite a bit of nominations for acting wise.
Oh yeah.
But holy moly, I'm starting to think, and I'm probably going to say it, is this guy's not a very good president. How does he not know or have a backup plan after hearing Diaz say, you know what, outlaw shit? And like, you think he's going to really, like, you should really like agree with you and, partner up with you when he's telling you, like, he talked to Ramos, when he's telling you, like, once he gets a beep on Ramos, once he gets a beep on Ramos and we ride together, that should automatically have red flags all over the place. And I go to whoever's around me and I say, you make sure those fucking guns are ready. Not only that, the plan of Diaz and Ramos, they're at a public hotel. Hotel, and they roll up on them. If you guys have not seen any mob movies, any like Martin Scorsese movies, anything, like, you should know, even American Me, whatever, you should know that's not how it's done. How it's done.
And I should clarify is, okay, so the goal, everyone was using bats. There was supposed to be like a no gun like an unspoken no gun rule. Their
That's what.
goal is
Yeah.
not to massacre the entire chapter. It's to teach you a lesson,
Okay.
get back in line, and we'll continue as normal. But you need to be punished first. So it was supposed to be beat the crap out of them and teach Santo Padre a lesson. And so they weren't supposed to be really killing each other. If a couple of them fell, then hey, you know, now you got two bodies and, you know, now you've learned your lesson. But it wasn't supposed to be massacre Santo Padre.
Now, very true. But if I'm Ramos's shoes, I already know that Bishop wants my head. It doesn't matter what they say, or it doesn't matter what, like, you know, come to agreement or whatever. He wants me dead. And like and Bishop said that, like, if he doesn't step down willingly, you know. So if I'm Ramos, I'm taking out this whole crew. This whole crew. He might have had that discussion with Diaz, like civil kicking everybody's ass kind of deal.
Yes.
But to me, nah. I tell Diaz, bring him over here. We'll have a chat, and then I take them all out. It's kind of like but you gotta, I guess you gotta understand that there's rules to this, right? There's rules. There is rules to being a member, but I thought those rules were just out the window after what Angel did and what Bishop is doing. So it's just a little confusing to me, and I just don't. And after this episode, I don't see how we use bats and fists again. You know, first of all, I gotta say Bishop and his crew held it down. Like, they had everybody swarming on them, but those guys were going 300 and taking out all these Stockton members. I mean, did you see Hank's kick? I love that part. Hank, boom. Hey,
Gilly was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Oh, Gilly was King Kong. He was
Kong,
beating on his chest, ready, like, let's do it. Now, as much as the believability, especially with Bishop and not noticing any of this, and then for Easy to having to save his ass again.
I know.
I have to say, I was very, very entertained with the brawl. I loved it. I was like, yay!
Well, that's what we tune in for.
Yeah.
Okay, so we like the crazy, you know, character dynamics, but we can't sit around and watch people have family dinners at the table, you know, all the time. We need action. I need to see some of this stuff happen.
We don't see it though at all. Like, we see family dinner time with like Easy and Angel because they're brothers, but we don't. I haven't seen one scene where like Bishop is with like the crew at a diner or something.
And I think that I like that their heat has been turned up a little bit. And I gotta say, I wasn't too disappointed with the choreography of the fight. I thought it was pretty well orchestrated. I mean, they really tried to show you, okay, what each Santo Padre Mayan is doing right now, whether he's fighting 2-on-1 or, you know, whether they're on top of one guy bashing his head in, like,
come on, beating the shit out of Steve, basically.
Oh, poor Steve.
Hey, no. Steve knew what he was getting into.
Oh, poor Steve.
That is Steve's decision. Just like every other damn member in that crew is their decision. I don't feel sorry for Steve. I love Steve. But, you know, and Steve's going to be scarred for life. I don't even think he's going to stay, honestly.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right with the choreography. I mean, it was very everywhere. But it wasn't like it wasn't as like good as John Wick, but it was good.
It was quick.
It was quick, and it gave you a little breather. I love this shot where Ramos is on his bike. And he's like, "You looking for me, fuckers?" You know? Yeah. And I was like, dude, that kind of reminds me of Training Day, you know, with Denzel Washington, like, King Kong got nothing on me. Like, I love that. I thought that shot was great. I thought that scene was great. And Diaz, man. Diaz is okay. So Taylor, I don't know your thoughts on Diaz, because I actually really liked Diaz when he came through.
Yeah, he was an interesting character for sure. The hard drugs thing.
Oh yeah, everybody pointed that out for sure.
I did love. He's like, "Hey, you want some, Bishop?" No, I like my teeth.
Yeah, well, Bishop says, "No, I'm good," and then Taz is the one that says, like,
"Oh, he said
he likes his teeth," and then he's like, "Oh, you want some?" He's like, "Oh, I like my teeth too."
Yeah,
Taz knows how to hit those lines, man. Yeah, what?
It's cute. I like. Well, I don't mean cute like that, but I mean
No,
like
it's
it's
adorable.
clever.
It's
Clever.
adorable.
Yeah, I
Heart.
like that.
When those two are together, heart right there, filter. Uh, what? So yeah, so like Diaz to me kind of felt like a guy I could see do like saying some of the shit he says and doing some of the shit he
Oh
says.
yeah. Oh, can we talk about he brought up he was shipped down bishop was shipped down to the border to
Mm-hmm.
set up Santo Padre, and he talks
Walmart.
about
Mm-hmm.
yeah, basically he talks about when Alvarez wanted to start the club, it was because him and Diaz were rejected from the Sons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is setting up some history a little bit.
I
So, a
love how
little
you pointed
history
that out.
lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, history lesson. So, this would have been way back around the time of maybe at the end of John Teller and a little bit of John Teller, but maybe mostly Clay.
I feel like at the end of John, right?
I think it's at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
John era, beginning of the Clay Morrow era as
Yeah,
president.
definitely,
So they were
definitely
talking
Clay.
about
Yeah.
yeah, well because the first nine had a Hispanic member. So I don't believe the reason that they were rejected was because of that. Because John
Mm-hmm.
had a member. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was more so maybe into Clay's presidency.
Oh, that's exactly
But
what I
I'm just
thought.
speculating. I'm trying to remember my history. Paul says history with Taylor. Yes, sit down, everyone. Okay.
Taylor has all the history. Like she should probably been in that conversation with
um,
the two guys.
so Diaz and Alvarez wanted to join Sons of Anarchy. They were rejected, and
Uh-huh.
so that's when Alvarez was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna start my own club. And so what that kind of was the universe's way of talking about the real life situation with how the Mongols were started.
Yeah.
So if you were wondering what they were talking about, it was the universe's way of saying, look, this is how the Mayans MC was created
Uh-huh.
in terms of this fictional universe.
Yeah, that and then also the fact that, Bishop wanted to go back to like those kind of like time like he literally says, fuck Galindo and the cartel. Even like says like with Marcus, he's not a Mayan anymore. And I love how you touched upon that kind of racist kind of deal that they Diaz said that they didn't want us right in SOA.
Yeah,
Those
he said
racist
like the racist
as
fucks, yeah, or
fucks.
whatever. So that's why it led me to believe that it was possibly into Clay Morrow's presidency and not
Yeah,
JT.
yeah, because I think we're all thinking Clay, right? I think we're all
He
thinking
would
Clay.
do that, wouldn't he? He's an
But
asshole.
but here's the thing though, Taylor. When I was thinking about that, I'm like, how wasted how ignorant and how you could have had one of the greatest minds. You could have had somebody who was loyal, absolutely knows what to do in Marcus Alvarez. Marcus Alvarez as an SOA member? Holy shit. That's what made me think what that scene when they dropped that. I was like, oh my god, I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
But Marcus did his own thing, and it's kind of like not drafting Michael Jordan in a 1 and 2 pick. you
Yeah,
know?
that kind of shows you, Dan, just a little bit of resentment that maybe he's been holding on to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I could have been a king, but I've been, you know, well, I am a king, but I could have been in a better spot than, you
Yeah.
know, being Galindo's bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, if you guys follow wrestling, like I guess SOA is World Wrestling Entertainment, and the Mayans are more like in the heyday when they were like reaching the numbers WCW. I'm throwing some wrestling terms in here, okay? But Marcus is he did what he did, and he was absolutely he there's a reason why he's so respected by everybody, right? So yeah, I did like the I think the dialogue was really great in this episode, especially with Angel. I
Yeah.
think Angel was really good in this episode. I absolutely love the line where Diaz was a VP says, you're killing our fucking brothers, and then Angel goes, no, that's my brother. Like I love Angel's dialogue in this episode. He was smart, witty. He still had the hot headedness of it, but he pulled back when he needed to. He gave advice to Easy because Easy in the whole Gabby situation, which is very brief. It's a very brief conversation. It just makes me believe more that she's either gonna die, and even said somebody said that she might even get pregnant, which would be kind of crazy. Did she be really into this life?
I would be annoyed that like they just all get pregnant because
Hmm.
that's kind of a trope that happens as well in television.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
mean,
mean, I still wonder what the hell's going on with Nails. You know, that's
maybe
kind
that
of
will
a
come around, but that's what happens with this show is
pregnancy.
okay, so like I know the chat for a fact brought this up is that we haven't seen Paolo in
Hmm.
how long? Like that's what this show does is we'll hit
Yeah,
you with this 1, 2, 3, and then you take 3 episodes off, you know?
exact. I know it's crazy how like because I was like really waiting for Paulo, and he's just been absent. And then Juan Gonzalez says Paulo is waiting in Santo Padre. There in Stockton. So like maybe he's laying in wait, setting up a trap. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I want to see Paulo back in the fold. I thought we would see him like I don't know, like kind of like
I
visit his
think
sister.
it's
You
kind
know?
of I think it's kind of odd that he is just taking a break. Like
Yeah.
he's like, all right, Taza, I know you guys got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll be
I'm
here
gonna
when you
go over
guys get
here, right?
back, okay? Yeah, I'll be here when you
Yeah.
guys get back. Don't worry. You
And
just
then
do your thing.
it's baffling. And then the promo of the next episode, I just don't. I didn't see anything that indicated that he was in that episode either. What the fuck is going on with Paulo? That's another issue with the writings too. Like they have, it seems like they have a little way too much, and they can only focus on so much. That's why I think the editing has to be sharp. And at some of these episodes, the editing wasn't too sharp, and you could have showcased the things you already set up, which some they dropped the ball on. But we'll see what happens with Paula. Let's get into some of this these comments. I know a lot of people. Welcome everybody. Welcome Chris. Welcome Kaba. Welcome Juan. Iron Bear Baron. What's going on, Iron? Welcome back. Let's see. Creeper was so loyal to his friend, he's willing to take a bid in jail for him. You know what? That's a perfect question to really address that whole Creeper situation, Taylor. Love Creeper's loyalty. Just
Yeah, I'm digging him.
that little moment just gives him a lot. You know, just a little thing like that makes him. We love characters that do things like that.
Yeah.
So walk. Let's try to break it down, Taylor, because we were kind of baffled on why Creeper. So who was this friend? Creeper was going back to make sure these fuckers don't like hurt him. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, can you try to explain this one, Taylor? Because it is a little baffling to me, a little confusing.
So this was like we talked about, this was a confusing
Mm-hmm.
section of the episode because there was just so many bodies. You know, you had all these cuts, in the throes of battle, and it was hard to figure, okay, who am I looking at? Who is that guy? So
Yeah.
Pavia was a Tucson or is a Tucson VP.
Yes.
So I was like originally thinking that it was Santo Padre and Oakland and Stockton, but apparently there was a few buddies from Tucson there as well. And I think Ibarra is Tucson, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yes. He's Tucson.
So yeah, and we knew that Ibarra was on the side of Santo Padre. So that
Yes,
made
we did.
sense after the fact when I was able to lay everything straight.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense. So Creeper and Pavia, they probably have like history, you know, from different charters. There could be a familial thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he was like, he didn't turn on us. Like I got to look out for him. He was with us, right? He's
Well.
basically,
Well.
he
It's kind
turned
of.
up with us to see this thing through, and he stayed with us on our side. He's like basically, like a Santo Padre member at this point. I have to take care of him. I gotta go back and see if he's okay. And they were like, all right, you do you, man. We're getting out of here, though.
Yeah. Even though I didn't see that guy like
It's loyalty beget loyalty kind of situation.
exactly. I was just like super confused with that. Like, okay, so like all I see is Santa Padre versus everybody else. I didn't even see that guy like really helping out, but it's okay. It was madness. It was a lot of cuts everywhere. Like you said, Taylor, it was a little like kind of hard to follow sometimes. So Creeper's loyalty though knows no bounds. I thought we would have a little bit more of the Creeper and Coco aspect this season. That seems to not be the case at all.
Yeah.
But whatever, and then I actually really like the scene where Creeper explains to Steve, like, about the gun situation. He's like, "Oh no, I'm serious. Keep it in the back." I mean, that led to,
Yeah, you can tell he was
Steve.
salty about that. He's like, "Look, you guys really screwed us with that gun
Yeah,
pipeline situation." I mean, yeah, and that's something that we can't ignore either. Is a lot of the Mayans chapters were really mad about that getting thrown away.
yeah. I mean, because that's
It was
business.
the sweet deal.
It's business. Yeah, it's like it's their gravy train. So this is all, and you gotta. This crazy is this all started with Taza. This all started with Taza.
It's all your fault, bro.
Yeah, like this motherfucker. And okay, so watching the scene over real quick before we jump into more comments, I noticed that I didn't notice the first time is that when they do mention all that shit, you see Taza kind of like rubbing his chin, kind of, and you see Easy kind of see that, kind of takes a quick look at Taza and says, "What the like? Why is this guy like uncomfortable?" You know.
Yeah.
It's super fast, guys. Like it's really quick scene, but it might lead to something because he's a smart cookie, and we haven't really seen that this season too much. I mean, well, we know he saves the day at the end. We'll get to that too, but I think he noticed something. He's noticing something's up with Taza. He should have noticed what something's up with Coco, which he kind of does. But I just found that a very interesting, quick little scene. Let's see. Caden, welcome in. Speaking of Easy's leveling with the prospect and telling him to hang on in there.
Yeah.
This is nice. Then playful, giving shit as he walks away. It was a very nice scene. Steve, just I forgot who's the actor's name.
I forget the actor's name too.
I'm just gonna call him Steve. His name's Steve, and Steve, just buddy, just don't move your shoulders too much, and you're good. Okay, just stop moving your shoulders. You're okay. It was like a little, how actors get a little. They're like, oh, this is my big scene, and they're not
Yeah.
really like big actors, and they have like this little quirk.
I
like
think he plays that character really well. I
No, no,
remember
no.
his video on Instagram where he was like, he's like a comedian too. He was
Yeah,
like,
he
he
is.
did like a video where he's like, it was like a joke, like auditioning to be a Mayans MC
Mm-hmm.
member. And I thought that was so funny. And the Mayans MC accounts posted it. And I know that's probably how they found him and decided to cast him.
No, he's doing
and I'm
great.
glad they did that because he's doing great. I love him.
He's doing really, really good. Just stop moving your shoulders. But he's doing great though. A lot of people love Steve. Steve is a good prospect. I didn't think I was gonna really care for him, but he's a really good prospect.
And I think it's more apparent now that Hank is his sponsor because we see Hank really in control of him.
Yeah,
Most of the time, like his handler kind of,
And somebody had a question on one of my reviews saying that. So I thought like maybe because it seems like they have a little bit more of a closer relationship. Maybe they're related. But
it could be his nephew or something. Like who knows?
Well,
or something like that.
Somebody said that I think it might not be allowed in the charter. I'm not sure. Like
What
that,
is?
they when you get a prospect, they can't be like related to you or something. But I don't know.
How would that work with Easy and Angel?
Exactly. Right.
So I don't know. I don't even know if that's a rule. I don't think that's a thing.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a little odd.
Because Angel was sponsoring his own brother, and then Easy asked Bishop if Bishop would take over.
So that's why I think they're somewhat related, right? I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably his nephew or something, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Poor guy had to do burpees.
Aw.
He didn't do them right. He didn't do the burpees right. I just want to point that out.
He strikes me as somebody who really loves a good meal. And he's not really a fan of burpees.
I'm just letting the chat know if I was president, holy shit, like I would be. I think a lot of people would be plotting against me. I would tell Steve to do the burpees goddamn right. Do the burpees right, Steve. Fucking Steve. But good job. I
want you 15 pounds lighter when I get out here.
God damn. Julie. Welcome, Julie. I forgot the Tuscans charter was there. Yeah, it was such a chaotic mess. Who like you just kind of had to like rewatch it and see,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
who
in the
was here.
moment when I was watching it live on cable, I was like, I leaned forward on my couch. I was like, all right, what? Like when the
Yeah,
intense when you enter the boss room on the video game and you lean forward.
yeah.
That's what I did with the TV.
That's a video game reference, guys.
Video game.
Kaba, don't you, Kaba? No, you better stop that.
But
He said,
when I'm
would have
on.
loved to see Emily's drama much more than a Mayans brawl.
No.
Get out this is the week.
Another episode where I didn't have to worry about
This is the
Emily.
week. Yes, this is the week where like
Yay.
don't have to shit on Emily or anything like that.
No one cares.
Galindo wasn't in here, which is insane.
Yeah.
So we don't we'll leave Emily alone this week. We'll see what she does next week.
Keep drinking wine with her sister by the pool. You go, girl.
But we will say though, I think your prediction might be coming true pretty soon.
Ooh.
Miguel asks the question, I don't think, in the next episode. Promo.
Finally, bro. Everyone knew this but you.
I don't think my mama's death was a suicide.
He's like, you know what? Something ain't right.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't see who he's talking to, but seeing a little bit of the back of the head and the hair.
I think he's talking to Alvarez, right?
No, I think he's actually talking to Emily because it looks like a hotel room. So and my guessing is that I think that maybe they have another big fight and she just takes the kid and goes into a hotel room or something. And then he finally makes the call, to the coroner. And then, who is he going to talk about? Who is the one person he's going to talk about this with? Of course he's going to talk about this with Emily.
Yeah.
I want to Alvarez. Yes, he will probably have that conversation, but when it comes to like a heart to heart like that, I think it's going to be with Emily.
Okay.
So yes, don't have to shit on Emily this week. The actress, beautiful, does what she can. It's just
her material is just not A1 sauce, guys.
This is exactly like Wyatt Russell over there in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. If you're watching,
doing what you can with what you're given.
Yes, everybody hates his guts, but he's doing a great job. That's exactly what you want. Same with like Game of Thrones and Joffrey and that actor. Kudos to him. So no shitting on Emily this week. We're banning that this week.
Yes.
Okay. Paul, what's going on? Paul, Scooter. What's up, Scooter? Again, do you think Tig and Chids will show up this season and get involved? You know what? Real quick. Actually, you know what, Taylor? While I was saying that some of the storylines might have to go to another season, this is another one. When
the Montez thing, you think?
Yes, this is another one I thought in this episode where like this SOA war, I think they want to focus on the Civil War right now.
Yes.
And the SOA war.
And then do Endgame.
Yes, and do it. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Exactly. This is Infinity War, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, absolutely. I think that that's exactly what's going to get you hooked for next season, right? If they have this storyline going on to next season, people are going to be like, oh, shit, we're getting into the SOA and Mayans war. Who are we going to, because Elgin James says he doesn't want to put SOA in this unless it's organic.
Yes, thank you for that.
So I think it is organic. I think they're doing a good job of laying the crumbs there. They're not shoving it in our face.
Shoving it in your face. Thank you.
You could have a season with this war because that's exactly what they're setting up for this war. So
yeah, and I want that if the war is going to happen, SOA versus Mayans.
Yeah. Organic.
Give me the lead up to that, okay? And then I can open that present when I get it.
Yes, and then exactly, it's the last present underneath the Christmas tree, right?
Right.
We've gotten through all this other stuff, and there's this big ass present. You're like, this is a PS5, baby. Hopefully, it's a PS5. If it's not a PS5,
we didn't buy it from the scalper either.
Exactly. So that's when you'll see. That's when I'll be comfortable with bringing all these guys back, right? And then I'm sure they have to do contracts and all that other stuff.
And if they did decide Chibs, and gosh, maybe even Kim Coates decides, you know what, this will be the only time I come back as Tig, and I'll be like, okay, let's do it.
And it would be an exciting time. People would be pumped. I think this would get so much traction, and it would be done right. Stick with the Civil War this season, and then organically go. if you get a next season, and hopefully, fingers crossed. And I think they do know something that we don't know. We'll see.
Yes.
A couple more questions, and then we'll finish off our talk on the breakdown. 805 Plumbing in Drains, San Diego. I love that username. What's up, 805? I think you're new here, so welcome in. Creeper is a Creeper is a G. I would ride with this fool, no questions asked.
Yeah, and he's road captain too, so I feel like he really kind of that's one of his responsibilities. Is like we came here together, we need to leave together,
Better road
right?
captain than Montez.
Oh, phew.
Ooh. Chris J. Nero has to return at some point. I don't see how though. Like I don't know, see how Nero would return at all in this season.
No, I don't. I don't see a story line that would involve that.
Nuh-uh.
He's supposed to be taking. Everyone loves him. I understand that.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be taking care of Abel and Thomas with Wendy in Oregon. So what would make him? What would be important to him regarding the Mayans to come leave that? You know, you got to think about things like that.
Exactly.
I love predictions and stuff. I'm not shitting on anyone's predictions, but I have to think about it in terms of what's happening with the story, right?
Mm-hmm, most definitely. Randy, hey Randy, welcome in. Did you say some of that popcorn for me? I think Steve gets killed.
Oh, I could see it.
I think Steve leaves.
Maybe.
Honestly. I don't think Steve's gonna get killed.
Who knows?
He almost. How crazy would it have been if he did? If that gun went off on him?
They were beating all on him. Yeah, and then the gun pop. I do like how they the smoking gun. Like you have to show a gun at the end one act before you can use it in act 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yes,
they literally did that in this episode.
Hey,
so they hand him a gun. They give him crap for putting it in his front pocket. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna shoot your dick off," you know.
Exactly, like Cheddar
and then he uses it to defend himself. And that's probably what saved a lot of his chapter, because in that area the gun goes off. And that's when everyone in the area really decided to call the cops. If the cops didn't show up, who knows what would have happened?
Oh, I know, and it was kind of weird though that the cops didn't like get them right away, like that. Those they felt like they were like just right there, and yet
their response time was tight in this area.
Yeah, it was interesting. But if you guys like film and script writing, just get the book. Save the Cat. It has all that kind of references we're saying. If you really want to know how script writing and what they do and some of the things you see all the time, it's in that book because I had to read that in film school. Richard, don't forget to hit that like button. Exactly, Richard. Gary, Clay took over in the 90s.
I saw his comment and I pulled up a fact check for myself. I haven't really been on top of covering the show for a while, so my memory of dates is definitely not good. So I appreciate him mentioning that because I pulled it up to fact check myself. I had forgotten that JT lived until 93, which puts my original statement kind of, as a fact check false. So Clay didn't take over until after JT's death in 1993, and the historic Mayan War, the Bloody Two, happened in 1990 and 1992. So that means that it wasn't Clay's presidency, it was JT's presidency where they would have been rejected, which I find interesting. Consider they had Chico in the first 9. So I want to know why that was an issue.
Well, it was probably a vote too. It's probably everybody saying that nah, bro. I don't know. Well, that's where we kind of want to see a first 9 series if they kind of are if there's a lot of things are happening like a lot of things history being thrown around, or a book. A book would be nice. I would like to sit down and read a book about all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I tried to read the comics a little bit, and they were all right.
I know.
But, it was all right.
Yeah, it's
I think more of an actual book or something would have been better. But
for sure. Like The Walking Dead has the Governor.
Yeah.
Book, and that was a really good read. So something like that. Julie, I didn't see Ibarra in the fight. I only see Tusken members.
Tucson.
I'm
You
sorry,
keep saying
Tucson.
Tuscan.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Star Wars. All right, I'm sorry. The Tuscan Raiders. I just
Oh
think.
boy.
Oh man, Star Wars has crippled me through the years. Okay. Sorry, Tucson member. Ibarra, I think he's in a promo. So he's definitely alive.
So yeah, I saw the promo, and I'm glad that he is alive. I know we had speculated in a couple of other live streams that we thought he was on ice, but it turns out he's alive. He probably just got an earful, and we did speculate that the reason that they found out about the drug deal
Mm-hmm.
and or to turn it on easy and cap easy was because of Ibarra. That maybe he had to give up the details, and that's why they went after easy. Because everyone was like, in that episode, they're like, well, why did they target easy? Remember, we had that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Randy says this just felt like one of the shortest episodes. It
It
did.
was. It did. I
Mm-hmm.
think.
It did. So Grim, the king, welcome Grim. Marcus told Easy that he wanted to see Easy wear a full patch. So come to him or Bishop is he needed anything. If he needed
Grim
anything.
is fact checking us on. We were misremembering the rule about family sponsoring family members, and
Okay.
he reminded us that Bishop and Alvarez made an exception for Easy and Angel. So there is a no family sponsor family rule.
Gary says, I believe the charter near Oakland rejected them. Oakland rejected them. JT just controlled Sam Crow, not the whole club like Marcus. They were saying they got rejected by SOA.
And Redwood is the founding chapter. Every club has like a founder chapter.
Yeah.
That starts it, and then you eventually go nationwide. Like you develop more.
Yeah, it's
like areas, more locations. You spread the club throughout the U.S.
Like a Walmart.
Like a Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Jermaine Anakin wrecked them in Star Wars Episode 2. The Tuscan Raiders. Yes, he murdered so many Tuscan Raiders. Okay, so let's jump back into some of this breakdown and a little bit of prediction. So, okay, we talked a little bit about the war, about the brawl. We need to talk about Easy. So Easy is in love. He's thinking about that booty again. She's thinking about that booty again.
Oh my
But
God,
not
dude.
only that, Easy once again does some work in this episode. Now the execution at the end of the episode, I was absolutely I didn't necessarily like.
I mean, it felt a convenience of the writer to me. That's what it felt like. And I know Easy always comes in and saves the day for this club. I feel like because they're
Holy
like, well,
shit,
now
yeah,
what
he
do we
does.
do? And he's like, don't worry, guys, I got a plan.
I got you. Yeah, and it's kind of like, come on, Bishop, come on with the damn plan, dude. I get it because Easy's technically our main character. We're following his journey.
Yeah.
We're seeing him move up in ranks. We're seeing the respect. We're seeing the gratitude. We're seeing that we're seeing that with Easy and Bishop and stuff. We're seeing the club really taking really a liking to Easy and what he's able to do. So Easy, the whole Easy and Gabby thing, I thought it was, I guess it was needed. Honestly, because he does show up at dinner.
Yeah, it's part of his character arc, which I understand, and it just keeps going into she's gonna get fridged. Like
It feels like it, right?
I see like Randy. He's like, "Do you have any predictions?" Well, I mean, for the end, at least by the end, I don't see Gabby staying because you see him try. He's trying to balance his commitment now because remember he started because he wanted and actually Steve brought it up. He was like, is this why you joined? And Easy kind of like smiled a little bit. Well, we all know that he was pushed into it to be an informant, to inform on the MC.
Yes,
and then he ends up
does it?
yeah, it doesn't really come up. So season 1 flashback there. And he committed, decided this is what he wants. He'll never have his old life back. He's accepted that. And this is his life. And he's now trying to balance having a girlfriend. I mean, is this going to be able to work out between us? He was hesitant to even really get too involved with her.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening. I think that'll be another point in his character arc, which is why you and I talked about the fridging so much,
Mm-hmm.
is he's going to realize that it's difficult for
Oh
that to
yeah.
work. You see a lot of the other Mayans members, and do they have women other than just the
Mm,
hangarounds? No.
yeah, that's the old lady factor that we're kind of
Right.
missing a
The,
little
the
bit.
missing the old lady factor. Maybe it's
Um,
just not possible on the border here. Maybe it's
yeah.
just,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
Redwood was maybe too comfortable for them.
Well,
They
Bishop did
could.
have an old lady, but the
Well, that tragedy
yeah.
happened, but
But I will say, absolutely love that they gave him that backstory. You know what? Easy in this episode, exactly what I thought was like, this is not going to work. Easy is a fool to think that this is going to work. You know, with balancing, and I think he's definitely realizing that like him
yeah.
with the club, him with Gabby, because so I forgot who it was. I'm sorry if can't remember who I was having this conversation with, but we had a conversation about Tara and the difference between Gabby and Tara. Tara already knew this lifestyle. She
Yeah.
knew everything about it. She knew what she was getting herself into. She was in it, and because she knew everything about it. Gabby does not. Gabby has somewhat of a clue, but she's not a true like she doesn't know everything. She has a career that she wants to pursue in nursing. Easy is over here doing club stuff. Like this is like these two are not. It's like kind of a tragedy, like Romeo and Juliet. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and either she walks away and they have this big breakup, which would be fine with me, or she dies. That's the only two ways I could see it. I don't see
Yeah.
her adapting to his lifestyle. Which would, if she does, if she ends up like embracing it, that would be nuts. That'd be actually
I
really
just
good.
really don't think she's capable of that.
No,
And
no,
I have to
no, yeah.
appreciate the shot and the way that they decided to lay out this particular scene is after Easy kills Oscar
Mm-hmm.
and he makes it conveniently in time to have dinner with Gabby's family.
Right. With a
He's
pretty face, no
he's sitting
scratches.
there at the table and you can see that he's kind of quiet. He just immediately hunches over and starts digging into that rice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, how is everything? And he's like smiling or whatever. Like everything is still like hot on his mind still.
Yeah,
And then he's like wiping his hands and he looks down and there's blood on the white napkin. And then he looks at his knuckles and he realizes
yeah.
I'm sitting here with bloody knuckles at the dinner table. Like that just showed you the incompatibility there.
Mm-hmm. He should have had bruises on his faces too, and cuts and all that stuff.
They were
But yeah,
punching him conveniently. They were punching him where he got shot because he had a wound there.
body blow, body blow. Exactly. But I feel like he still would have had some like bruises or something in the
Oh,
face.
who knows?
It's production. What are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly. Like it's I mean, Gabby wants to know, she's we've seen episodes where like you need to open up with me, you know, you need to take out the trash or something.
What?
But I don't know. I'm just going back to Steve Trevino's comedy hour. But she does say like I want you to like I want you, are you here? I want to know, like, I want trust. I want all that stuff. But I don't think you're absolutely right. She can't handle all that stuff. She's not
Yeah.
going to, knowing that he kills people, that he does drug runs. It's going to be like, it's going to remind me of, what's her name? Lori from The Walking Dead, where she tells Rick to kill Shane and then she's shocked that he killed Shane.
He's like, lady, what do you want? Like,
Yeah,
I think what do you
you
want?
just told me, to let
What do you want, woman?
let you in, and now you're freaking out. Like this is why I didn't want to tell you. So that's kind of like that situation to me. But Easy, I don't think he's ready to be president, but he's he's definitely becoming one of the probably the best member of that club. Like they
He's
need
still
him.
learning too. We have to remember that he
Yeah.
hasn't been a patch member for that long. So he had to learn the prospecting side. Now
But
he has
this
to learn what it means to wear the patch and sit at the table, right?
but this makes me think like what the fuck has Bishop been doing? You know?
He's been drinking and crying and getting a divorce.
How is he getting this? How is he having this MC be this capable for all these years?
Which is why if we have a war between Mayans and Sons in season 4, they have to have their shit together. There's going to be no survival if they don't.
They will with the new president because Bishop is going to die at the end of the season.
Oh my God, Dan.
I'm not joking, like Taylor. It is so sprinkled in throughout this whole season. Like even this episode, if you're telling me that they're really showcasing a lot of Bishop's faults, a lot of his unhinged, and having a barely patched member make wins, make plans and succeed in those plans, and bailing you out, the president. Like,
well, let's
Bishop.
roll into this. Okay, so Easy. If you guys don't remember, that cop that showed up to kind of bust out
yes,
the other Mayans. Okay, he was part of Hope's storyline in season 2. The 2 cops killed. What's his name? It's gonna bother me now.
His partner.
He was a Stockton member, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about the one.
You saw him for like a hot second. I'm upset that I don't remember his name. Somebody will tell me. I know they will.
He went to go take a piss.
Yes, and so they shot him, and then Santo Padre went in and helped take care of it for them. They killed one of the cops, and the other cop they let go, and they said basically like, you're gonna make sure that this doesn't come back to bite us in the ass, and we have you on call. You'll do what we say. So they had a call for him that the other guys didn't know about, that Stockton didn't know about, and Oakland didn't know about too. So Medina, thank you, Vegan for Life. I appreciate it. I knew somebody was going to tell me what his name was, the mine that died.
That was a great, like, Vegan for Life. Thank you.
Yeah.
For life, vegan.
So when Easy remembered that, and they still haven't showed his photographic memory yet either. But anyway, when Easy remembered that, and they got a hold of him and were like, hey, now is when we're going to make this square. And so he pulls off to the side of the road where Easy's waiting, and then caps him. And he's like, so what, are you even now or what? Or, is this going to be the end of it? Or then
too comedic.
It was too much. And then Easy was like, he's like, am I free now? And Easy was like, are any of us? And he's like, what does that
mean? Yeah, I know. It was I thought the execution on the line delivery and just the comedic was like,
okay, so let me ask you this.
Play it serious, please. Yeah.
Dan, now that Oscar is done, there goes Stockton's president. Okay. What happens now? What's going to happen with Conchi and the other, he's the other king other than Bishop.
I love how you said that, because we just got a comment right here that kind of goes into that a little bit. Like Blood Entertainment, that's an interesting username. Welcome in. They are clearly setting Bishop up to be the man, the new king,
the only king,
the only king, the one king, the one
true king.
Yes, like the Lord of the Rings. See how you think he's wait. Oh, right here. I don't see how you think he's gonna die. Having Alvarez come back as president is gonna go backwards. Now that's just wishful thinking for me, for Alvarez coming back. And all means, do I think that's not like a 95% chance there?
No, he will be mad about their capping of Oscar though, but he can't come back.
No, he's a suit right now, and then I think even that storyline will probably go into the next season if we get a next season. So even though as much as I would love for him to like take over that charter, because he's the one technically that sent Bishop to do this job, it's me thinking Bishop is gonna die. It's just because of so many TV shows, so many movies, so much of the writing that I've seen, that this is very similar to every one of those kind of that kind of thing. You see, Bishop has been messing up the whole season. I love Bishop, but he hasn't been aware. He's been unhinged. He's making bad calls. There's a thing called consequences. Whether that be consequences of like, family or his close ones dying, or he himself dying. I think that there's just too much he has done, and too much where he's brought in this club to an all-out war, that I just don't see him surviving any of this. So now let's get into the king, right? The one true king.
The king beyond the wall.
The king beyond
The
the.
border wall.
Don't you bring Game of Thrones in this?
I had to do it.
Stupid
It was too
anniversary.
easy.
Don't ever watch that anniversary shit. Let it go. Let it die. So I think he might. I think he will be the king. And then at the end of the episode, at the season finale, he's gonna die. I think he's going to. Yes, I think the one king thing is gonna happen, and I think it's gonna be Bishop.
I think it needs to happen that way if Sons is going to be a threat around the corner waiting for them. I think it has to be that way because it's got to be the one guy making the calls because they were not agreeing. The three kings they were hardly on the same page when it came to getting revenge on the Vatos for Riz being hospitalized. They were like, hey, remember the gun deal? And Bishop had to make his own charter members upset with him because he was trying to agree with the kings.
Yeah, I mean, Bishop would. I mean, he would be great. He's still a good he's making mistakes, but he's still like rallying. He's a great rallying up the troops. He's great at. They obviously love him. He has their trust. I love Bishop. Bishop is he when he talks, he listens. But to me, my gut feeling, and I will be here when this breakdown prediction. I will do my reviews, and I will say at the end of the season, if he's not dead, I will say I will eat crow.
You owe me a coffee.
I will buy
if he
Taylor.
lives.
I will buy.
You'll
Taylor
buy me a coffee,
and I
okay.
will say sorry to every single member of this channel. I'm sorry. But until that day, no. To my gut feeling is that he will be king. And at the last episode, you know how everybody it's all too good to be true. Just like with Diaz siding with Bishop, it's too good to be true. Bishop being king is too good to be true.
I don't know.
He's gonna be smiling, and something's gonna happen to him. Something's gonna happen.
If you guys ever wondered, I mean, if you're finding this stream for the first time or Dan's channel for the first time, if he and I were going to sit here and agree on every single thing, you were mistaken because
you're mistaken.
There's definitely some things we don't agree on.
We definitely have our moments, and I think a lot of people have come to my channel and say like, you know what, I kind of would agree on definitely with Taylor more than that. Dan is a hit and miss sometimes. I'm always a hit. What are you talking about? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. No, but honestly, yeah. I mean, that's what I love about like talking, breaking this down with Taylor is that we both have such sometimes different opinions. But
that's how the fandom is built too. The fandom has different opinions. So
we both represent you guys.
We represent.
We represent. I mean, like we got you. Yes. Well, I think it's the predicting wise. That's what I predict. But I think going into the Suns war, like you definitely need somebody who's gonna like whether it's Bishop or somebody to really have be a vet, be seasoned, be ready for war.
And this is a learning curve too. I don't see.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell that Bishop has never had this occur as in his time as a president.
That's true.
So he's definitely learning.
Little Obispo, couldn't reach the
couldn't reach the pegs.
The pegs. Oh, now I fucking can. Love those lines. Bishop is.
I know.
Lines are so good in this episode. So good. Okay, so Easy, going back real quick, and then we'll get into the comments and we'll finish it off. Easy doing work. Like I said, I thought it was a little bit too comical. I think you play it straight. You've been playing it straight this whole season, most of the time when it comes to brutality and violence. But I think Easy, so after this episode, it's going to be more, it's going to be like a tug of war of Easy in his love life and then also his club life. But I think he's going to get mad respect, especially we're going to have some dialogue maybe with him and Bishop next episode for sure.
We're going to have to see Galindo come back and be another thorn in the mind's side now that he's finally gotten off the grieving train. And Felipe, good luck, man, because guess what, Galindo's going to be knocking on your butcher shop door again with some questions.
Sorry, Jermaine says, I like how you quoted Mufasa, Taylor. Good one.
Jeremy Irons, I love his voice as Mufasa.
Let's see. Iron Baron. Alvarez is gonna want vengeance because you remember Alvarez is the one that
He's like, "What are you
appointed.
doing, man? What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
he appointed these two. And Conche, that's an interesting one. Is he gonna get murdered, or is he gonna like back
Ooh.
down? Because Bishop did say like if they don't back down willingly, and maybe Conche does, and maybe he like maybe he does, maybe.
Well, here's a something to consider. With Oscar gone, the hierarchy has changed in Stockton. So Stockton's VP is going to have to move up. There's going to be have a power shift happen.
Hmm.
Maybe with Oscar gone, is some members of Stockton going to be like, okay, maybe now I feel more comfortable joining
Yeah, but what
with
about
Santo Padre.
right? What about Diaz though?
Oh,
Betraying
yeah, yeah.
Dawson.
I saw a question there. Is he alive or no?
He's alive.
You
There's no
think
way he's
so?
dead. I don't think he's dead. I think there's a couple members that probably are dead, like the Taza straight out like cuts arteries in this episode.
Oh yeah, he stabbed somebody. I
That
watched
me
him pull out this little hook, this like cat's claw, and I was like, "Yo, this is some serious shit."
listen. A lot of
Yeah.
people are looking forward to Mortal Kombat tonight or
Oh,
Friday.
I can't wait.
Scorpion versus Sub Zero. I am, but you know what I'm looking forward to? Taza versus Paulo with those weapons.
It's coming.
Give me it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I think I'm looking. That's Sub Zero and Scorpion to me. Let's do it. So yes, I think Diaz is alive though. Mark,
Okay.
with the war inside Mayans and Coco stuff, I don't know how this season will end. It's very, it's still another like kind of hard prediction. Uh, I will predict that Coco is gonna live. That he'll probably get cleaned up because if they were gonna kill him off, that would have been the time. They're gonna kill him off twice this season, honestly, in my opinion. But I think he'll get clean, especially with Letty now by his side. That we said that was probably gonna happen. And as for the war with Mayans, it's just I think it seems like next episode is gonna settle down a little bit, but I hope that's just kind of like a little bit, and we go full speed ahead again.
Okay.
Let's see, Gary. I think Dondo will be Stockton new Prez.
Done. Okay.
Dondo was which one was Dondo? Was that the one with the beanie?
No, he's got dark hair and a
Oh
dark
no, that's
mustache.
Oakland. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
like, he was giving them the smug look when they were all on their knees. And the cop showed up to help them.
Oh,
And he let Oscar stand up, and they like kind of said hi to each other. Dondo looked right over at Santo Padre and was like, "Yeah, they're in our pocket."
yeah.
That's who I think who he's talking about.
He was talking to Creeper, saying you're fucking dead the next morning. So he
Hmm.
might have some vengeance on his mind for sure.
Yeah.
Paul, unforeseen consequences. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Yeah, you said vegan, dead or nah. Diaz is, I believe, alive. You got any comments you see that you want to share? Shout out, Taylor. Oh,
Let me see.
Grim says, I think Marcus will send Nestor to kill Bishop and Angel after the threat made in the hospital. You know,
I
I
think
like
we
it.
can agree that now that Oscar has been taken out of the picture, that Santa Padre might be on the up and up. They're gonna have to lick their wounds
Yeah.
for a bit, but I think they're gonna see like the other chapters come into them and be like, yeah, I think we're ready to make this happen, that you being the one king kind of deal. And then maybe the club will seem to have more numbers.
And another oil in the flame or whatever, how you gas in the flame. I will say that if Bishop becomes king, very like not at the end of the season, and he becomes king next episode or episode 9, that definitely leads me to believe that he's going to be hopped off because I guess you would hold that until the end of the season finale. If you're a writer or if you're a showrunner, you'd be like, okay, we'll finish it off with Bishop becoming that one true king at the last episode. So if he becomes the king before that, it's gonna be very interesting, very very interesting. But Baron does say Bishop dying maybe, but I don't see Taza dying this season. I mean, that could very well happen. Taza may, we're thinking it, and just like Gabby, but there could be a little curveball right there. Let's see. Well, I don't think Nestor is going to kill Bishop. I think somebody else is. What if Marcus does it? You don't trust that man with churros. I'm just
I,
saying.
I kind of do see Nestor and Alvarez, not entirely getting along all the time. So I don't know if they're trying to go
Oh,
somewhere with that or not.
that's very true too. That's well, I mean, it's not like in your face that they don't get along. This just
Right. It's
feels a little bit,
subtle.
yeah.
It's like subtle coworkers not vibing completely.
What was that?
It's kind of like coworkers like not getting
Oh,
along for the job, but not really vibing.
yeah, exactly. Fuck that guy. Richard, if you think Bishop and Taza end up dying, who's gonna be prez? It would have to be Hank. Why not? I like Hank. Did you see that kick? Give it to Hank. Let's see. Oh, right here. Aaron says, Aaron Barron, I don't know how they were able to ride off on their bikes without having trouble navigating, considering all the head trauma they suffered.
Oh my gosh.
They were getting whooped, and then they
They
came back, and they
conveniently are able to escape before the cops
yeah.
get out or show up to arrest the other guys, but man, I do love how Hank was yelling at Steve, "Get on the bike, hurry up, we got to get out of here."
Randy. So Randy, it could make a little sense here, because they know Easy came up with the whole plan and stuff, and they did go out right for the hit and stuff. Stockton.
Hmm.
Gabby says, or Gabby, Randy says, Gabby gets kidnapped and shot in the head in front of Easy.
That's really dark.
Not in the head, but like shot. I was thinking head. I'm sorry, I'm dark like that.
Yeah, I think everyone has heard us really try to figure out whether or not she's gonna stay or if she's gonna be killed
Should she
off.
stay or go? Yeah, exactly. Caden also says Angel dies. I'm calling it. Well, I'm gonna put you down for that, as I put down myself for Bishop. So it does kind of feel like that sometimes, though, with Angel and his just hot headedness. But I think there might be a little bit more story for him, especially with him, Adelite, and the baby, and the Potter situation. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, Taylor. I'm gonna say no, that Angel still lives. I don't know if you think that as well.
I don't think Angel's gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, they need a core amount of characters. Listen, they didn't kill Clay off until like what, season 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chibs never got killed off. Tig never got killed off. I think we get so
Chibs,
wrapped up
my boy
in the fact that
Chibs. Yeah.
the members do die sometimes,
Mhm.
and I think you're just a little ambitious about who is gonna die and
I
how
want some.
many.
I want some. I want some. I want
You
some
want some of that
travesty.
Walking Dead, 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 dead. That's what you want.
I want
That
some.
kind of
I
style.
want some season 1, season 2 Game of Thrones type shit, Taylor. I
Oh,
want
where
like
everyone just drops, and then you have
everybody.
47 characters' names to remember. No thanks.
I mean, I did remember them, and then I heart, and then let's get away from there. uh,
Yeah, you hate me every time I bring up Game of
I
Thrones.
know. Then I got to talk about it, and then I was like, God damn it! And I've been watching a lot of the rant reviews on season 8
Oh yeah,
lately. They're so on point. The reviews are better than the actual season.
that's sad.
Let's see. Easy the philosopher, Rachel says. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
the
definitely.
last thing. Yeah, yeah.
Raquel. Yeah,
Uh,
Easy the philosopher. So, we did mention a few live streams ago that it seems that the character trait of the photographic memory was shelved this season.
yeah.
Um, the flashbacks, what they did change about the flashbacks is that Easy is not the only character to have them now. We saw Bishop have a
Oh
flashback.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're so I don't know if they decided to drop it because it seemed kind of out of place, maybe. And it really just kind of seemed more important to Easy setting him up as the main character to help the audience know, hey, this is my past and this is why I'm in the MC and I have all these ghosts that I need to resolve. So I don't know if they'll go back to that or if Elgin was just like, nah.
I think I think that was done. I don't think you need the flashbacks, because the flashbacks were to figure
Solve
out.
Mama Reyes's murder,
Yeah, and once
basically.
that's done, so
Yeah, exactly.
you don't
Thank
need it.
God.
You don't need it. And then the filter, or the after effect they were using on it, was terrible.
It looked like a preset color correction tool I would use on Adobe Premiere.
It was
Like,
it was really bad. Like, it was
yeah.
bad for what they were trying to convey, and then you get into the flashback, and then that was kind of bad a little bit. It was kind of a little
Uh-huh.
cheesy. So I'm glad they're away from that. The
Me
only thing
too. I think it's better because we have a break from that.
exactly, and I think the only thing I miss is more of Easy's and how smart he is. Right, is how he's able to pick up
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of things.
I do miss that a little bit because I mean that's what makes Easy, so different from the other club members is the fact that he is well educated.
Yes, and that exactly. That's I mean that's a unique
Like
character.
that's a unique characteristic for
Hmm.
those club
A
members.
club member.
He was raised totally differently than these men were.
But I will say that Jax had a little bit of that too, though. Jax had a little bit of that hippie freedom kind of thing, which could also be considered like a little bit of philosophy. You know, a little bit of life.
He was the kid who was raised by parents of the 60s. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he had that kind of
Woodstock, baby. Exactly.
that dreamer vibe.
I'm free, free
Free
falling. Yeah,
falling.
exactly. So Barron, if the SOA didn't like Hispanics, then Montez and Juice wouldn't have been accepted into the charter.
And I
There,
can touch on that a little bit because I this is one thing that where this universe is hot and cold
mm-hmm.
on the issue. They're not exactly clear on whether or not are they really in fact wanting to exclude people based on race because
Yeah.
they've had a track record of having Chico in the first 9, Juice who they already in Montez, like I mean, are they or are they not racist? Like, what is the deal?
Well,
It seems to be a thing that flip flops.
well, with Jax as president, he didn't care. And then even as they said, like they knew, like so Juice, the whole thing with Juice, right?
And
Is he was
even
half
like
and
we just
half.
figured out, like okay, so allegedly, like JT was president when Diaz and Alvarez wanted to
Uh
join
huh.
SOA, but they already had a Hispanic member Chico. So what's the? I don't understand.
It might have been like they might just didn't like Marquez and Diaz. It could have been as simple as that. Because the race issue.
It's
Uh,
hot and cold. Like what is it?
Even Clay had a little bit, a couple episodes where he was like
Right.
cool with Marcus and everybody, even after the whole war and stuff. So I don't know. It's just it's very interesting. Like I said, I would like a book of it or something to clear that up a little bit more. But yeah, they brought it.
Is it situational? Is it a deep rooted issue? Because I'm having like
Yeah. But
yeah.
we all know though at the end of the SOA that the club banished that, right? They brought in
Well,
they're
yeah.
not
Well, that's one of the things that Jack said. He was
yeah
like, regardless,
of
no more from here on out. Whatever the past was, no more from here on out. We don't give a shit. Anyone
so
can join as long as they're fit for the club. As long as they're willing to do what needs to be done and they're willing to commit to the lifestyle, it doesn't matter.
mm-hmm. Jax is just a good old Abraham, isn't he?
He
Jax
sure
is,
is.
Jax is great though. Jax that's why we all love him because he has a different way of thinking, just like Easy. And I think that's why I don't love Easy as a character, but I really like Easy as a character. I will still say that you know this, Taylor. I've always said in the beginning of the series they needed somebody, a veteran actor, that we kind of know. And there's plenty of them out there that could have been like, in the Mayans series. I would have loved to see I mean, I'm just throwing
Well,
a name out there. I'm not saying like I want to see him in there, but shit, after maybe thinking about Desperado, Antonio Banderas or something, but like somebody with like the actor who played Pablo Escobar, right? In
yeah.
Narcos or something like that. Hell, even dude, how great would Pedro Pascal be in there?
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that. Vegan for Life says they had a bylaw about it. Yeah, we all know about that. But what I'm trying to say is they're inconsistent.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know that there's a bylaw, but they've been inconsistent about the following it or not. Like,
And it's funny when we say inconsistency. You got to also guys remember, like, I remember watching your video, Taylor, about Happy in the timeline. Remember?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
don't get me started.
that didn't really make sense. Like, oh, so of course, which shows it's gonna be like, they're gonna take liberties. So they're
I've
not.
seen them make liberties with their own established timeline, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, I mean they absolutely make liberties, and some of it doesn't like add up, but then sometimes you just got to go, okay, you
Like
know.
Abel going from like 2 years old to 5 years old in like a year or something like
Hey,
that.
growth spurts. Like people trip out that my son is like 2.5. He looks like he's 4.
Jeez.
Let's see. I know now that the actor who plays Isaac is the same actor who plays in The 100. I don't know if you've seen that or heard of that show. I have not, Jermaine. But
Mm-mm.
I think he's doing a stellar job.
Yeah, and I don't think he's done.
Well, well,
We
no, no,
saw
no, no, no. Yeah,
we know
yeah.
that Coco left, and Hope was like, "Hey, why did you leave the camp?" And he was like, "It's a bunch of weirdos over there." Like, but he's not done. I am, and that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards Coco being alive after the overdose, because we haven't seen the end of Isaac. He wanted Coco to steal more
More shit. Yeah.
heroin, which isn't he can't even do that right now. Number one, because that's not even like things are too crazy right now.
And you
But
know what?
I don't
Maybe
think we've seen the last of him.
yeah. Maybe Hope does live from shooting up, and then maybe like Coco's such in a bad state that he maybe messes with Isaac because he threatened Hope's life.
Right.
So maybe Coco comes back and just like maybe something happens to Hope and he just he goes after Isaac basically. Okay, let's get a couple more in and then we'll end it here. A lot of people are not agreeing with me. Dan Bishop is not going to die this season. He will be the one king. Mark my words. Put it down. Write it down. Put it on your calendar. For the last episode, I'm gonna say he dies, and then I'm gonna tell you I told you so, or I eat crow and I tell you I apologize to all of you and buy Taylor coffee.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. We're getting up to a longer stream than usual.
I know, couple more because my computer's about to die too.
Yeah.
They kill Trail on SOA DEA, so I don't know if they can do that. Baron wanted Danny Trejo back in. I tried his beer. His
He has
beer.
a beer?
He has a beer. It's a really more stronger Modelo. If you guys
Hmm.
ever if you guys ever see his face on a beer can.
Okay. Interesting.
Coco is not even thinking about the club right now. Nope, he's not in that state. All right. Let's see. 805 says they didn't allow other races to join, but it got brought up to HR and they had a serious meeting with everybody.
Yes.
Exactly. Let's see. Maybe a couple more. If you guys got comments, you better put it down right now. We're about to end this.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and throw them in real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let my dog out real quick, and I'll be right back. Like 2 minutes.
Will they revisit the Creeper storyline, seeing Taza off Riz in the hospital? Probably. Most likely, Caden, because like I said, there was one scene where Easy kind of like looks at Taza and how uncomfortable he was when the Diaz and Bishop were talking. It was very quick, so they have to be coming back to that. And then Easy does know that Taza is worried about Paulo out there, so I want to know about that tattoo. Honestly, what tattoo are you talking about, Mark? Are you talking about the SOA tattoo that's on Isaac? I believe it's on his rib cage. Grim. If we're going off the season 3 trailer, I think Hope dying is going to be one of the things that force Coco to get clean. That's what I said in the beginning of the stream. I think that's what's going to be a wake up call for Coco. It could go that way, or it can go where she is alive and Isaac maybe does something to her.
I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's kind of where I see that story going. I think they
Scooter.
need him for fourth season. I think they need Coco for season 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously you could definitely still work with Coco's character going to another season. So, but if they if yeah, I think either he dies now. If he doesn't, then he's gonna live. I think he's gonna live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy. You have a good day. Grim Bastards were able to join SOA after Jax made the change. Exactly.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So maybe Coco's just a deep sleeper. Letty is
That was a lot of drool.
overreacting. Exactly. Okay, guys, we're gonna end it right there. I want to thank all of you for joining us once again. We really appreciate you guys commenting, liking the video, supporting this channel, and also just you guys have great insight, giving us facts, fact checking us. We always need that, right, Taylor?
Right, my memory is not always the best, not perfect.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not going to read every single article, but I do my best. I do my best. I try to go back. I try to see. I'm more of definitely a gut feeling where this might take us. I've seen a lot of movies and TVs kind of guy. Taylor, thank you. We'll see if you get that free coffee at the end of the season.
I look forward to it.
Well, I look forward to
I can
like
taste it already.
the only thing I want is I told you so. That's all I need in life. I
Okay,
told you so. We'll see. We'll see how that happens, though.
we'll see.
We have 3 episodes left, Taylor. 8, 9, and 10. I believe
Hmm.
this is a 10-episode season. I think once again, I'm going to say I'm praising this season. I think this is a much better season than the last 2 seasons. I think next episode, I'm very curious to see how the pacing is on that episode. Uh, you guys could check out my reviews. You could check out all my other videos on my channel, Dan Man Reviews. I have more than Mayans. I also have other TV shows that I'm reviewing, movies. That Mortal Kombat movie, baby. Gonna be reviewing that one. I can't wait for that. And also like the video. It would help this channel a lot with the algorithm or whatever it's called, and just really kind of like really torpedo this channel to success. But I really appreciate everybody who's been joining us. Thank you, Taylor. Taylor, you have a good rest of your day. We will be back, and we'll see what we agree and disagree on next episode.
Bye.
See you guys. Dan Man.